Hi, Pella Christian Grade School. Here is another art project for this week. We are going to make some hot air balloons. Has anyone gone on a hot air balloon before? Or have you seen a hot air balloon flying up in the sky? They're one of my favorite things to look at. And I've actually been on a hot air balloon. It was my dream to go on one, and I finally got to. It's amazing to see all of God's creation from way up high in the air. But one thing that you notice, if you're up in the hot air balloon, you can see so very far away. But what happens when things get further and further away, they look smaller and smaller. So as I was going up in the hot air balloon, I was waving to my mom and dad and sisters below. They looked like they were getting smaller and smaller. Were they really shrinking? No. It was because I was going further up and there was more space in between, and so it looked like they were smaller. So that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to learn about something called perspective. So as your perspective changes, things look a little different. As things get further back into space, they look like they get smaller. So in my hot air balloon picture here, the one closest to us is a lot bigger than the one further away. They get smaller as they go back into space, and that is called perspective. Another thing we are going to do this week is make bright and beautiful art. Okay? So hot air balloons are often bright and beautiful, and I want to see all of your bright and beautiful artwork with different types of hot air balloons and different designs. I made some of mine up, but you could look at pictures of hot air balloons or just make up your own patterns and designs on your hot air balloons. Okay, so let's look at our learning targets for this week. Our learning targets this week is I can create perspective, that's that big fancy word we've been talking about, in my art, making things look smaller as they go back into space. Perspective. And then 2, I can make bright and beautiful art. What you will need this week is definitely a piece of paper, or like usual, I have my sketchbook. So, paper, definitely a pencil, probably an eraser, and then something to color with. This week, I used a combination of things. I used some watercolor for the background, so I have my watercolor paintbrush. Then I used colored pencils for my actual hot air balloons. But you could use crayons or markers as well. So go ahead and grab what you need and then we'll get started. Here are my hot air balloons. The closer the hot air balloon is to you, the bigger it looks. And as it gets further away, it looks like it gets smaller. Does it really get smaller? No, but from where we are standing, it looks like it gets smaller. So when you are making artwork, if something is far away, it should get smaller. So this week we are going to draw at least 3 hot air balloons. You could do more if you want. We are going to start with a nice big hot air balloon, but we want to have room for our other hot air balloons. So I'm just going to start with a circle. A circle, it touches almost about half my paper. Okay, well, this isn't exactly a perfect circle, but I started with the circle, and then I added this, little shape. It's almost like a light bulb. And we'll put a basket down here. We just use a rectangle. If you want to get fancy, you can make it look like it goes back into space. Or you could just stick with a rectangle. You gotta connect the hot air balloon to the basket. You could even draw people in here if you want. Suppose it can't really fly without people. All right, now I can go ahead and erase that other line that I left with my circle. Get rid of that. There we go. So that is my first hot air balloon. All right, as it goes back into space, they're gonna get a little bit smaller. So, probably about that size, maybe. Add my little I did that one a little quicker. And then I think I made these both a little bit bigger than last time. Hardly have room for a tiny little hot air balloon. Whoa, that basket is hanging down low. So there you have it, 3 hot air balloons. If you have room, you could do another tiny little one way up in the distance. As they go back into space, they get smaller. All right, now what you can do is add some fun details. Yours does not have to look like mine. Maybe I'm gonna draw some ground. This one's sitting on the ground, and those already took off. They're winning the race, I think. This one, I'm gonna have a hill up here. What else? All different hot air balloons have patterns, so you could come up with some fun patterns. So I'm gonna have those different colors. This one is gonna have stripes going this way. Those all be different colors. How about this one? Maybe it's gonna have polka dots. Something like that. Okay, so put a bunch of patterns on your hot air balloons, and then we'll go ahead and color them or paint it. So that is our lesson for today, and I hope that you guys had fun making your hot air balloons. I hope that you were able to make some bright and beautiful artwork, and that you were able to show perspective. Make things get smaller as they go back into space. So I want to see pictures of all of your bright and beautiful artwork. I'm going to share a link to a photo album online, and then I will share it on Instagram. And I cannot wait to see all of your work, okay? So we have one more lesson next week, and then we're done with school for the year, all right? So I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.